I'm 84 years old. My name is Richard Ashford. And there was a time when strangers knew my name before I said it. I don't mean that in a proud way. I'm just telling you what was true. When I walked into a restaurant, the owner came out from the kitchen. When I entered a room, conversations paused for just a second. Not because I demanded it. It just happened. I thought that meant something about who I was. I was wrong about that. It's strange, sitting here now. The house is quiet. It's been quiet for years, but I notice it more lately. I used to have people around me all the time. Assistants. Partners. People who needed decisions made. People who needed my signature, my approval, my time. I never had to reach out. They came to me. That felt normal. I built a commercial real estate business from almost nothing. Started in my 20s with a single property I barely qualified for. By the time I was 40, I owned buildings in 3 states. By 50, my name was on developments, shopping centers, office complexes. I had people managing people who managed other people. I worked all the time. I was good at it. I was respected. And respect, back then, felt like the same thing as being known. I remember the first time I noticed it. I was at a gala. Some charity event my wife insisted we attend. I didn't care much for those things, but I went. I walked in, and within 5 minutes, 3 different people approached me. Shook my hand. Called me by name. Talked about projects I'd worked on. Asked about deals they'd heard I was considering. I didn't know any of them. But they knew me. And I liked that. I liked being recognized. Being referenced. Having a reputation that walked into the room before I did. It made me feel substantial. My wife, Catherine, was with me that night. She was talking to someone across the room, and I saw her glance over at me a few times while I was in conversation. Later, in the car, she asked me who those people were. I told her I didn't really know them. Just business connections. People in the industry. She nodded. Then she said, they knew your name, but they didn't ask you a single real question. I didn't know what she meant by that. So I didn't say anything. The years moved fast after that. More buildings. More deals. More press. I was quoted in newspapers. Interviewed for business journals. Invited to speak at conferences. I was Richard Ashford. The name people mentioned when they talked about commercial development in the region. And I was busy. too busy to notice things slipping. Catherine started spending more time with her friends. I thought that was fine. She had her life. I had mine. My son, Daniel, was in high school, then college. I saw him on weekends sometimes. Holidays, if the schedule allowed. I thought he understood. I thought he knew I was building something for him. For all of us. I thought proximity was the same as presence. There was a dinner once. Daniel's graduation from business school. We went to a steakhouse downtown. One I'd been to 100 times. The manager came over within 2 minutes of us sitting down. Shook my hand. Asked how I'd been. Told me it was an honor to have me back. I introduced Daniel. Said it was his night. The manager smiled, nodded, said congratulations. Then turned back to me and asked about a property deal he'd read about. I answered. We talked for a minute or two. When he left, Daniel was looking at his menu. Catherine was looking at me. I didn't understand the look. I kept working. The economy was strong. I kept expanding. Kept taking on bigger projects. Kept saying yes to things that required more of me. I was needed. People depended on me. At least that's what I told myself. I vaguely remembered. That project had been important. I started to say something, but she kept going. I'm not angry about it, she said. I stopped being angry about things like that a long time ago. I didn't know what to say. She looked at me then. Really looked at me. Richard, she said. People know your name. But I don't think anyone really knows you. She passed 6 weeks later. The funeral was big. A lot of people came. Colleagues, business associates, people from the industry. They all said kind things. Told me how sorry they were. Said if I needed anything, to let them know. I shook a lot of hands that day. But when it was over, when everyone left, I realized something. Not one of them had asked me how I was. They expressed condolences. But no one asked me what I was feeling. What I needed. If I was okay. They knew my name. But Catherine was right. They didn't know me.